Could your town be buried under 2 feet of snow this weekend? The kind of snowfall we have not seen in over 30 years is now on the table. And here is what makes this even more dangerous. It is not just snow. We are talking about a catastrophic ice event that could leave millions without power. Right now, winter storm watches are already posted. Dallas, Fort Worth, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Little Rock, northern Louisiana. This is spreading fast. And the critical question nobody can answer yet: where will the line fall between crushing snow and crippling ice? Stay with me, because at the 90-second mark, I am going to show you the exact zones where models are predicting 18 inches or more. But first, you need to understand what is causing this monster. Arctic air is diving south into Texas, into Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, the Carolinas. This is not your typical winter cold front. This is a massive dome of Arctic high pressure building south, and when it collides with Gulf moisture, we get a recipe for disaster. On the northern edge, temperatures will be cold enough for all snow. Pure, heavy, accumulating snow. The ensemble models, which average over 50 different computer forecasts to find the middle ground, are now showing a growing probability of more than 6 inches of snow across Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, and Kentucky. But here is where it gets shocking. When we flip to the odds of seeing more than a foot of snow, the models are lighting up the same areas. Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee. We are talking about the potential for historic snowfall in places that rarely see this much. Comment below right now and tell me where you are watching from. I will get you a personalized forecast update in the next 48 hours. Seriously, drop your city or state in the comments. You deserve to know exactly what is headed your way. Now, those odds are spreading eastward as we move into the weekend. Eastern Kentucky, East Tennessee, Central Tennessee, all the way back to Memphis. The risk for really heavy snow is increasing by the hour. And once you get to the Cumberland Plateau, stretching east into the mountains of Western Virginia, West Virginia, and Western North Carolina, we are looking at heavy snow accumulations. The odds for more than 6 inches are climbing rapidly across Virginia, too. Here is the thing. When you look at the probability maps for more than a foot of snow, it refines the picture. This is the highest risk corridor. Somebody in this zone is going to get absolutely crushed. And by crushed, I mean snowfall totals that will shut down entire regions. The odds of seeing more than 18 inches? You can see the sweet spot forming. Or should I call it the danger spot? Because if you live in this zone, you need to prepare now. Let me be clear about the Northeast. The trends today shifted a little further north. So now we are looking at a 70 to 80% chance of seeing more than 6 inches along the Delmarva Peninsula and Cape May. But once you get up toward New York City, those numbers drop to about a 50-50 shot of 6 inches or more. Think about this for a second. Richmond to the Chesapeake Bay, out toward Delaware, a foot of snow is on the table. That is not a maybe. That is a legitimate possibility showing up on multiple models. The latest operational model run today printed another blockbuster snowstorm into Oklahoma. High-impact event. More than a foot of snow. Some spots showing 18.9 inches. Now, I am not saying we will see exactly that number. Models always have some margin of error. But the idea of more than a foot is very real. And south of that snow band, freezing rain. This is going to be a major problem. Here is your reality check at the 2-minute mark. There is a high bust potential. That means forecasts could be significantly off in either direction. The critical zone stretches from North Texas into Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, and North Mississippi. The question keeping meteorologists up at night is this: will you end up with rain or snow? Or that nightmare scenario, freezing rain and sleet. Freezing rain eats into snow totals. So on the southern edge of where this heavy snow band sets up, we could see lower accumulations than currently modeled. But that does not mean less danger. It means a different kind of danger. What about Houston? Watch this carefully. As the cold air at the surface bleeds south, freezing rain starts to accrete. That is the technical term for when ice clings to every surface. Trees, power lines, roads, everything. Look how close this gets to Houston, especially north of town. The odds of seeing freezing rain are growing today, even more than yesterday. And here is something the models do not account for well. They do not factor in melting or runoff properly. So when you see projections of 2 inches of freezing rain in southern Arkansas, understand this. Even if you only get 1 inch of freezing rain, you are going to have catastrophic problems. Power outages, impassable roads, downed trees blocking streets. That threat extends east into north-central Mississippi. There is a real chance we see freezing rain all the way down into southern Mississippi and central to southern Louisiana. Not quite to New Orleans or the coast, but pretty darn close. Now look at the snow projections to the east. My goodness. The newest European model is printing 18 inches across central Tennessee into Kentucky. I'm going to show you blended model data in just a moment, which I think gives a more realistic picture. But the fact that operational runs are showing this much snow, incredibly impressive. And concerning, the snow band has shifted further north. We are now seeing 13, 14, 15 inches in the projections. And yes, somebody in this zone could see 1.5 to 2 feet of snow. The European model this afternoon says yes, that is possible. Across the south, freezing rain remains the dominant problem. And I want you to watch the Virginia-North Carolina line closely. I know we are getting big snowfall projections for Virginia on the models, but if this system jogs north by just 50 miles, now you are into sleet territory. Your snow totals get completely eaten away. Here is my promise to you at the 5-minute mark. No matter how you slice this storm, there is an incredibly high bust potential. That means the forecast could change significantly, and I have said this many times on this channel. I do not hype things up. That is not my style. It does not do me any good, and it does not do you any good. But I do want you prepared for a very impactful weather event. As this Arctic high pressure builds south, the critical question remains: where will the line set up between freezing rain, sleet, and heavy snow? Some of these snow totals may rival amounts we have not seen in decades in certain areas. Now, some of you have probably seen snow like this in the past, but it has been a while, a long while. Before I show you the hour-by-hour timeline, comment your location again if you have not already. I am checking comments and will respond with specifics for your area. This is important. You need localized information, not just general forecasts. Here is what the European model showed this afternoon. It brings some snow through the Great Lakes tonight into tomorrow morning. This is on the leading edge of Arctic air diving south, moving through the upper Midwest. We will also get snow moving through parts of the Northeast into the Appalachians, north into Pennsylvania, New York, and up into New England. Not a lot of snow with this system. It moves through pretty quickly. Northwest winds start building in, and here comes Arctic air surging south. On the upslope areas of the Rockies, there could be light snow from Montana down into Wyoming as temperatures plummet on the east side of the mountains. Denver could see some upslope snow. That extends all the way into parts of Wyoming and continues as this north and easterly flow reaches Texas. Here comes the problem. Moisture kicks out of the southwest. We get overrunning flow, and now the ice breaks out. This is freezing rain just north of the Red River. Then you transition to all snow from Oklahoma City northward. Little Rock, you are right on that line. But get into northern Arkansas and southern Missouri, it is all snow. The European model today keeps Memphis almost entirely snow. Nashville, all snow. North of that into Kentucky, all snow. To the south, ice. Freezing rain. Tuscaloosa is very close to seeing freezing rain or maybe just plain rain as warm air tries to surge north. But once you get into northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, and North Georgia, especially toward Greenville and Spartanburg, that cold air gets reinforced down the east side of the mountains. This is what meteorologists call a Miller-B setup, where you get overrunning moisture. My question becomes, on the west side of the mountains, can we bring warm air north into Tennessee? That could dramatically reduce snow totals. And then you are dealing with an ice storm that starts as snow, with all snow remaining across Kentucky and West Virginia, very close to Virginia as well. Danville is right on the edge between snow and sleet or freezing rain. But once you get south to Greensboro, Winston-Salem, or Raleigh, it may start as snow but quickly transition to ice. By Sunday afternoon, we have a mess extending all the way into northeast Georgia. Notice how warm air tries to surge up the west side of the mountains. A little bit of rain shows up from Chattanooga to Knoxville. We may actually transition from ice to rain on the west side of the mountains. Further north, it stays all snow along the Ohio River. Now our coastal low starts taking shape. Easterly winds pull moisture off the Atlantic at the surface too. That could put really heavy snow into the northeast. And freezing rain continues into eastern and southeastern Virginia. Watch for that line to set up. High bust potential with sleet. When precipitation starts as sleet, just know your totals will not match initial forecasts. As we head into Monday, this system moves off the east coast. Does it impact the northeast? Today's newest model run says yes, and we stay cold across all the areas that saw snow, so it probably will not melt quickly. Across Texas, we start warming up. Also across the south, which is good news for melting. But behind this system, it stays cold through the weekend. Chilly weather becomes a serious concern if power goes out. The GFS model from this afternoon shows heavy sleet across the Dallas-Fort Worth area all the way down to San Antonio. The GFS has shown a bias toward putting ice all the way to Houston and southern Louisiana, much further south into Mississippi too. It runs colder to the north. I have been focusing on areas along the Virginia-Tennessee line back into Tennessee. With a colder solution, we get more snow. This will get refined as we get closer. We are talking about a forecast for Sunday, and today is Tuesday. Time to dial this in. I do not think the question is whether there will be a storm. The question is, where will these lines and precipitation types set up? This is blended model data. It takes several different models and blends them together. It will not give you the huge numbers that individual models show, but we are seeing this start to grow. Yesterday, all of this was gray. As we get closer in time, we can rely more on this national blended model data. Oh my gosh! It is showing more than a foot of snow in parts of West Virginia, down into northern North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, up into Maryland and Delaware. Even southern parts of New Jersey could get crushed with more than a foot. Southeast Virginia, I think you end up mixing, and the snow does not come as far north as the European suggests, at least not yet. The models have not picked up on that scenario. Going back to the European, the odds of seeing more than 6 inches are starting to grow into southern New England. Let me show you the newest GFS model. I do not even know what to say about this. It appears to have trouble with mixed precipitation, but it is trying to put down nearly 2 to 3 feet of snow from East Tennessee into North Carolina. If you go back to the midday run today, it was a little further south. The GFS is starting to come back north. Here is where it was last night. Here is this morning. The midday run went back south. Today's run shifted north again. Do not get caught up in each operational model run. That is why we started by talking about ensemble guidance, which uses more than 50 members to guide us toward the middle ground. These are the sweet spots I am seeing right now, all lit up on probability maps for more than 6 inches of snow. Watch these areas. And again, to the south, the ice situation is just a mess. Further west, as cold air moves south, there will be some snow into the Rockies and Four Corners states. Not as much back into Utah and Arizona. This snow out west is really just the pre-show for what is headed east. Further west and north, not much precipitation. We may get something moving in by the 30th and 3rd. Good grief. Still very dry across that part of the country. Now let me show you temperatures. Look at that cold air moving down the east face of the mountains. Below zero temperatures dropping through the Dakotas. Further east, we see that cold air move south too. Heading into Thursday and Friday, the cold moves into Texas, setting the stage for moisture to move back in. Look at these temperatures Saturday afternoon. Single digits across Oklahoma and Missouri. A lot of Arctic air in place. If it snows where you are, especially across Oklahoma and Missouri, snow ratios could get 15 to 1. I do not know if we go 18 to 20 to 1, but when it is 0 degrees, that is pretty impressive. Further east, someone commented asking how we get ice when temperatures are in the teens or 20s. Here is the problem. Once you go up in the atmosphere several thousand feet, temperatures feeding in from the southwest are 32, 35, 38 degrees. In some cases, over 40 degrees. You are getting a melting layer. So precipitation falls as snow way up high, goes through that melting layer at about 40 degrees, then falls into a layer at the surface where temperatures are in single digits, teens, or 20s. There is your ice or sleet or freezing rain problem. Look how cold it stays. We need to look at the cold behind this system. it is going to get chilly. With a fresh snowpack on the ground, it is not inconceivable we could see temperatures below zero heading into Tuesday morning. Further west, during the same period, if there are power outages, your highs will be in the 20s and 30s, maybe just the teens in some areas. Once we get to Tuesday, we start seeing some warming across the deep south. We get back above freezing, at least in North Mississippi and back into Texas, but it stays in the 30s and remains cold heading into next week. What we are not seeing across this area, at least for now, is a massive surge of warm air to really melt things quickly. So let me recap the critical points. Arctic air is plunging south. Winter storm watches are already posted from Texas to Arkansas. The line between snow and ice remains uncertain, and that uncertainty creates enormous forecast challenges. Some areas could see record snowfall. Other areas could see catastrophic ice accumulation. Power outages are a serious threat. Travel disruptions will be massive. Here is what you need to do right now. Stock up on essential supplies: food, water, batteries, medications. Make sure you have a way to heat your home if power goes out. Charge all devices. Fill your gas tank. If you live in the potential ice zone, understand that half an inch of ice can bring down power lines and trees. 1 inch is catastrophic. Some models show 2 inches in spots. That would be devastating. If you are in the heavy snow zone, a foot of snow is manageable for northern states with infrastructure. But for Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi, that is paralyzing. And if we get 18 inches or 2 feet, that is generational snowfall for those regions. The timeline is compressed. This develops Friday into Saturday and continues through Sunday. Some areas could see precipitation for 36 to 48 hours straight. I am tracking this minute by minute. Model runs come in 4 times daily. Each run gives us more clarity. By Thursday, we should have much higher confidence in exact locations for heaviest snow and worst ice. Comment your location one more time. Are you in the potential snow zone? The ice zone? The transition area? Tell me where you are watching from, and I will respond with updated information as models come in. This is not fear-mongering. This is not hype. This is reality. Multiple reliable models are converging on a significant, high-impact winter storm. The details are still being worked out, but the overall pattern is becoming clear. Here is what makes this particularly dangerous. The cold air is legitimate Arctic air, not just cold for January. This is brutally cold. When you combine that level of cold with moisture from the Gulf, you get explosive snow growth rates in the right zones. In areas that see all snow, snowfall rates could reach 1 to 2 inches per hour at peak intensity. That kind of rate, sustained over 12 to 24 hours, produces the totals we are discussing. A foot, 18 inches. Perhaps 2 feet in isolated spots. For ice zones, accretion rates matter just as much. If freezing rain falls steadily for 12 hours, even at modest rates, you accumulate devastating ice totals. Trees snap, power lines come down, roads become skating rinks. The human impact cannot be overstated. If you lose power in single-digit temperatures with no heat, that becomes a life safety issue within hours. Hypothermia is real. Carbon monoxide poisoning from improper heating sources kills people every winter. Elderly populations are particularly vulnerable. If you have older family or neighbors in the impact zone, check on them. Make sure they have a plan. Travel will be impossible in many areas. Do not attempt to drive in these conditions. Seriously, I cannot stress this enough. A foot of snow in Memphis is not the same as a foot of snow in Minneapolis. The infrastructure is not designed for it. Plows are limited. Salt supplies run out. Roads will be impassable. For ice zones, forget driving entirely. Even with 4-wheel drive and chains, you cannot drive on ice. You will slide. You will crash. Stay home. Airlines will cancel flights. Thousands of flights. If you have travel plans this weekend through the South or East Coast, start making contingency plans now. Assume cancellations and delays. Schools will close. Businesses will close. This will disrupt daily life significantly. And it could last well into next week, as cleanup takes days, even weeks in some areas. Now, I want to address the bust potential again. Yes, this forecast could change. The line between snow and ice could shift 50 miles north or south. That 50 miles makes the difference between a foot of snow and an ice storm, or between an ice storm and just cold rain. That is why you cannot lock into one specific forecast yet. You need to monitor updates constantly over the next 2 days. My job is to keep you informed as models refine the picture. But here is what will not change. Cold air is coming. Moisture is coming. They will collide. Precipitation will fall. Whether it is snow, ice, or a mix depends on exact positioning, and we are still 48 to 72 hours out. What should you assume? Prepare for the worst-case scenario for your location. If you are in the potential heavy snow zone, prepare for a foot or more. If you are in the ice zone, prepare for significant ice and extended power outages. Better to over-prepare and be pleasantly surprised than to under-prepare and face a crisis. Let me talk about what happens after the storm. Even when precipitation ends Sunday night or Monday, problems persist. Snow does not melt quickly when highs stay in the 20s and 30s. Ice definitely does not melt quickly in those temperatures. So you could have snow or ice on the ground for a week or more in some areas. Power restoration takes time. Utility crews will work around the clock. But when you have widespread damage across multiple states, it takes days to restore everyone. Road clearing takes time. Side streets may not see plows for days. Rural areas could be cut off. The economic impact will be significant. Businesses closed for days. Supply chains disrupted. Damage to infrastructure. This is a major event with major consequences. I am seeing ensemble probability continue to increase for significant snow from Oklahoma to Virginia. That tells me confidence is growing. The models are converging. That is actually more concerning than if models were all over the place. When models converge, it means the atmosphere is setting up in a clear, consistent pattern. This pattern supports a major winter storm. The million-dollar question remains, where is the bullseye? Where does the heaviest snow fall? Where does the worst ice accumulate? We will know more Thursday. We will know even more Friday morning. By Friday afternoon, forecasts should be pretty locked in, but you cannot wait until Friday to prepare. By then, stores will be mobbed, supplies will run low, roads may already be getting bad. Prepare today, prepare tomorrow, be ready by Thursday. Comment below if you found this information helpful. Let me know what else you want to know. Should I do another detailed update tomorrow? Do you want hour-by-hour timelines for specific cities? Tell me what you need. And if you have friends or family in the impact zone, share this with them. They need to know. They need to prepare. The next 72 hours are critical. Stay tuned. Stay safe. Stay prepared. More updates coming very soon. This is developing rapidly. I will be here tracking every model run, every update, every shift in the forecast. Your safety is the priority. Not clicks, not views, just good, solid information to help you make informed decisions for your family. Where are you watching from? Drop that comment now. Let's build a community of prepared people helping each other through this event. We are in this together.